Yes, 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 Castworthy Podcast, and we are back. It is Sunday, March 9th. Cannabis said, greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th. God rest your soul, all that fun stuff. I am Big Steve, aka Last for Dying Breed on the X Machine. And hello, my name's Steve on Instagram, joined by EJ, the stew, the sophisticated, domesticated one. Bourbon Ace on the Instagram machine, and we're here. We are here. Um, let's see. Let's get right into some fun stuff. I know you said you had a pretty uneventful week. My week was pretty uneventful. I got a cruise coming this Sunday, so I'm excited about that. Florida spring break is here. You guys got when is the spring break for Baltimore for the kids?
Um, it's weird because one of my kids is in a charter school, so they have a different schedule, and then the other public non-charter schools, it's a little later this month. I want to say around the 20th ish. Um, so yeah,
Damn,
that's
so
how it goes.
they don't all get the week off together.
I believe they get a good part of it together, but the fact that there's a cheer and dance stuff. They don't really get to do much outside of that anyway. As on the Sunday, you can see I'm in the car here at the second oldest HBCU, or maybe third, in state of Maryland, State University for a cheer competition. So can't even get the Sundays to relax.
Cheer competition, huh? Some
Hmm.
pageant moms there, cheer moms there.
A lot of cheer moms, a lot of spandex, a lot of coconut
Uh,
oil and hair grease going around.
oh, must be a thing to see.
It's interesting. It's definitely this competition is definitely, I would say, Negro driven. Some of them you can tell when it's like a competition where it's more diverse. But this one is it's only been black folks that I've seen so far. So yeah, it's
Oh,
interesting.
so it's gonna be like what was that movie where they were like damn.
But bring it on.
Yeah, it's gonna be like bringing
It's
it's
always
been
like bringing it on. It's always like bringing on every competition. But yeah,
okay. Um, did you do anything this weekend? Anything out of the ordinary?
no. Um,
Drinking the
yesterday,
two step?
no, I, me and the missus went out on Friday night. Went to spot right where typically it's called Michael's. It's typically when I go there, it's typically empty. It's a big facility. They have two facilities. This particular one we went to is a larger facility, but man, it was packed. They had bluegrass, live music on one side, and then on the other side, they had a DJ setting up. And I was like, okay, waiting to see what the DJ was gonna play. This dude starts playing all type of like early '90s CC Peniston club music, and when I tell you, all of these older uh, white males and a couple of sprinkles of black folks came there. I mean, these people had to be in their 50s or the 60s. I'm giving them like 50s to 60s, probably 55, 65. You would think you was at the Copacabana at a club. They came in dancing, hammered with their friends. Like it looked like it was just crazy. It looked like a movie. And we were just in there just watching people just get it in, just people watching. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea that place got like that.
Maybe it was a planned event and you didn't get the invite because you're too brown.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of black guys in there, single older black guys in there, but it was
Well, you know what they're
majority
looking
white.
for.
Absolutely, and this one guy, you could tell he was like from up north somewhere, but he was a black dude, and he was the man. Like everybody coming up there and buying drinks, he's getting numbers left and right. And it was like a few groups of like you could tell 30s, kind of maybe 25-year-old white girls in there. He's in there talking to them. It's like, yo, it was crazy, man. It looked like a bunch of, I'm on my way to retirement. I just got off my job. It's Friday. It was wild in there, man.
Snatch up a little bunny.
That's what it looked like my man was doing. But it was crazy. One of my most frustrating parts, I'll say this, I hate and I feel bad for bartenders. There was a group of about 5 or 6, 7, I would say probably 25 to 30-year-old black kids there, just occupying half the bar, haven't been drinking, haven't been eating for hours. 'Cause I asked the bartender, she was like, they came in at 3 o'clock. It was about 8 o'clock at that point. They're taking up 7 spots, just sitting there talking to each other. It's like, yo, other people want to come in, do their thing, spend money, because every seat that's occupied, if it's not making money, the bar is not making money, the bartender's not making money. And it's like,
Right.
yo, if you want to kill with the people, go to another spot, go bowling, go do something. Like I just hate inconsiderate people. Has nothing to do with ethnicity, but I just, that part really grinded my gears for a little while. But once we were able to, get our seats comfortably, we sat at the bar, but it was just a little uncomfortable where we were at. But once the things put out and the party started jumping, it was a good little
Yeah. Pretty quiet here. Nothing too crazy for me. Found a little spot that we got a new spot. Southern Box Company here in Orlando. Has a dope little vibe to it. What they basically set up is like a food court, right? So when you walk in, it's a big ass bar in the middle, and then around the bar, they got different booths and seats for people just to kind of sit and chill. More of a chill spot than a restaurant vibe. But there's about 9 independent vendors, independent restaurants in there. So there's like a Cuban spot, a Jamaican spot, there's a ice cream spot in there, there's a Japanese spot, a Mediterranean spot. You know what I mean? And then outside they got like this a lawn with like lawn chairs and fucking giant Jenga and shit like that. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Chill little spot. And people just go there to drink and hang out or whatever. And because they got the giant Jenga and the big running room, people there on Saturday with their kids and shit. So it's a decent little thing to take in. Weather was beautiful, of course. Like 70s, mid high 70s here. So
wow.
uh yeah, perfect. Good breeze and all that. But other than that, nothing too crazy. I think today probably maybe some yard work or maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Like just depends. Um
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
A lot of places like that are opening up. We have one here called the R House, and there's like 2 or 3 in DC. But it's an interesting concept. You have that one central bar area. You can get drinks. You can go back to the booth. You can get whatever style of food you want. It's just I think that's starting to become a trending type of place, and it's easy for the vendor to come and set up, even if they want to do pop-up shops. So it's a cool little concept.
Yeah. And as a owner of a spot like that, like you don't have to worry about having food licensing. You don't have to do the ordering. All you have to do is keep the area up and collect your booth rent. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that whoever owns it probably has the bar. Like the bar is probably theirs. But then they're just collecting, rent from 9 different restaurants, every month. And what are you paying? What's your upkeep? The mortgage or whatever, the rent each month, the electricity, cleaning, facilities and stuff like that. But you're making off of 9 restaurants and a bar. So It's
And
not.
if you're like one of the buildings in DC, you've got loft apartments on the on the ascending levels. So
They they got it's a new area that's like 2 minutes from 5 minutes from the hood, call it, and they just kind of built it up, and it's starting to look like one of those hipster, gentrified joints. Like they got a big apartment building across the street, and then they got a nice parking garage right across from the spot. So like at least you feel you're not parking on the street. You know what I'm saying? You got a pretty much a secured lit parking. um it's it's nice, man. It's nice. We'll see how long it lasts, and before it gets infiltrated with by the hood. But you know, food is good and drinks are good, so can't be mad at that.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
wild week this week. We had State of the Union, bunch of lies up there, and you know, tough Tariff Tony popped up as usual. You know, it was right before he figured he would go into his State of the Union and boost his base by saying, "Yeah, the tariffs start tomorrow." You know, fuck Mexico, fuck Canada, fuck China. We about to, you know how he be on his shit. And of course, you know, we had shout out to Al Green. Al Green is what's he like 70 something years old, and
Probably.
yeah, he like 71, I want to say. And he was the one that kind of held it down. Not kind of, definitely held it down. You know, refused to sit down. Did the same thing Marjorie Taylor Greene did to Biden, but you know, in this case, right? Obviously, we see that Dems are pussy, and Republicans ain't. They don't care, yo. They don't care. They had him escorted out. Yo, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Meanwhile, you know, Biden, this bitch is basically spitting in his face, had a, let's go Brandon hat on, screaming, booing, yelling, carrying on. Like, the privilege is crazy. The privilege is
I'm
absolutely crazy.
I'm glad you said it though, because shout out to Al Green, Brother Green, member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. You know, got thrown out. You know, and you could tell, man. I mean, I don't feel like he's putting on a show or showboating or disingenuous. I don't feel that way. Um, I feel like he was actually upset, couldn't hold the emotion back, and had to do something and just wanted to stand up. But what was
Yeah.
sad for me was watching the rest of the Democratic Party in their shirts, in their little fans or whatever you call them things, and even your boo, Kevin Crockett,
No, party
before
friends.
the whole before the whole joint, doing the whole TikTok and all of this stuff. And then as he's getting escorted, I could see her face. And it kind of seemed like maybe for her, that moment she realized like, yo, this is real. And going back to the point about Marjorie Taylor Greene, too many people saying, well, she wasn't escorted out. Well, that's because the Speaker of the House, when it was controlled by Democrats, didn't kick her out. Joe on this bipartisan, all this, we could work with the other side, we could make things happen, we could do this. Nah, these people are not playing in that game. They want to
Yep.
set it off. They wanna even if they're lying to their people, their base, they want to at least put on a good show. They want to carry out the mission of their side.
Hmm.
Democrats, on the other hand, this was going on, as you said, and we had Speaker never called the Sergeant of Arms to get her up out of there. Why not? You know what I'm saying? We can't be mad at, like BP always says, and I agree with, and we agree with. We can't be mad at the game that we're in, that we want to be played. We got to play the game that we're in. And when
Hmm.
she was doing that, she should have been removed. Same thing with Biden. And how many times have we asked, can he write an executive order for this? Write an executive order for that? We don't know. And if he does, they'll tie it up in court. Trump is coming out writing executive orders for a million things, many of which recently are being overturned, thankfully. But again, like we said, it's the feel good politics that your base wants to see and feel and be lied to. The people don't want the
Exactly.
truth. They want to feel good. So for the Democrats, that State of the Union was a horrible showing. And then go back, you go forward rather, and they vote on Al Green's status going forward. And of course, Republicans in a landslide vote to keep him out of there. And 10 Democrats vote along with them.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's talking about that. That's kind of crazy to me, man. I, I I wanted to see. I haven't really looked it up. I haven't really been in the spaces to look it up. But I wanted to see the political rationale from those on the left as to why that happened.
I think people are scared, yo. Like, Trump is a bully. Trump is an absolute bully, and he is bullying people around. He bullies. He's bullying, trying to bully other countries. He's bullying corporations. He's bullying. I mean, you saw well, you didn't see it, but we talked about it last week. The letter that went out to, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was T-Mobile or whomever, where it was like, yo, y'all still got DEI going. What's going on? Basically saying, yo, y'all got federal contracts with us, federal funding. Y'all keep that DEI shit up. We gonna pull that. And so they're just bullying people around. And to your point, he's writing these executive orders saying, yo, look, we about this life. Promises made, promises kept. And his dumbass base don't understand that once it gets into court and, it could be 4 years from now once he's out of office and none of that stuff went through. But like you said, from day one, they feel great. They feel like he at least tried, he at least tried. And so, and continue to try different things, right? Where, VP and the Democrats and the left would turn around and say, well, Biden tried. He tried with the student loans, but it was blocked. Well, that's the only thing he tried. That's the only thing he tried. The other stuff he didn't, we just didn't see enough of it. And we also have to understand when you talk about playing the game that you're in and not the game that you want. For example, Cuomo's about to run for mayor for New York, right? Cuomo got put out of there because he just had a simple allegation. Like, the Dems are playing clean. Like, yo, allegation, you gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you got 34 felony Trump. He let the Tate brothers back in. They running around with Dana White, who beat his wife on camera. Like what are we talking about, yo? Like, and the Democrats are trying to play this game. They got to play the game that they in, man. They got to realize, like, I get it. You don't want to be, suspect and disgusting, but if you're talking about somebody who's actually made moves somewhere or made headway, like a Cuomo, and we're talking about just an allegation. Come on, man. You got to keep that kind of. That guy was like, he was like the god of the Democrats during COVID, because he was doing what needed to be done in New York. And I don't know, man. It was nasty work. It's nasty work. And then his base is just not smart enough to understand. Like,
But
he comes out Tuesday night. Oh, we're gonna do the tariffs. He rolls out the tariffs, and then everyone's on his head. China's on his head. Mexico's on his head. Canada's on his head. China basically was like, "Yo, we ready for whatever war you want. You want a trade
whatever y'all
war?
want to do,
Yep. You want tariff war? You want trade war? You want war? And we here for it." And guess
or
what? He backpedaled real quick, real quick. So I don't know what's to come. I watched some of that, some of the State of the Union, and Trump was up there making stuff up, telling them that there was trillions saved. Elon Musk was the head of Doge, even though for the last month and a half they've been trying to tell us that he's not, because obviously he shouldn't be. 'Cause he's not an elected official in any way. He shouldn't have access to the things that he has access to. It's just been a nasty, nasty couple of months of politics, and capped off by a pretty disgusting week of politics. And so, you know, we'll see, man. It's crazy. All of this has happened, and we're talking about being, what, 2 months in, not even, of douchebag being president. And I don't know, man. It's pretty nasty work out there.
You made peace not realizing now. I mean,
You're breaking up.
who cares? Uh,
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I'm good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like who cares? You know, what I mean, who cares that if years from now the things you did were overturned? If I live 4 years the way that I want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you care? You know, if all we ask as supporters of the Democratic side, you ran on the ticket of saying, "I'm going to eliminate all student loans." Or maybe you didn't say all. Maybe it was left to say, "I'm going to eliminate student loans." Maybe all we needed for you to do was write an executive order to say, "Hey, post COVID, I'm making this. I'm wiping these joints away. If you're gonna get something going forward, here it is. Fight me in court. I have 4 years. It is what it is. How can you be mad at that?"
Right. And the thing is, right, you set yourself up for voters, right? If you write that order like that and everyone that's impacted sees this fight for 3 years or 4 years and you keep talking about it, like, yo, we got this thing tied up in court, but if we can get it to go through, we're gonna get all student loans out of here. And you just keep saying that, then maybe it's different at the polls. Maybe the 10 million people that voted for Biden, or 70 million, I think it was, whatever that large, and it was a pretty big number that voted for Biden that didn't show up for Kamala, maybe they do show up. Maybe you get a portion of that back and maybe you end up winning this election. But instead, you got people that are like, yeah, he promised us student loans and didn't get it. You know what I mean? All we got were some of the social issues that he wanted and that he stood by and what he thought made us feel good. Oh, look, I gave you guys a black SCOTUS. Oh, I gave you a black vice president and all this stuff, which is great, right? But to the masses, that's good to us when we talk about cultural, right? It's history. It's like I said, I feel like he wanted to be a president that made history. In the history books, they talked about Joe Biden was the first one to do this. Joe Biden was the first one to do that. I don't think he was a president where he was sitting there saying, yo, this is what the people want, and I need to make this happen. He wasn't trying to be action oriented. And that's just my personal opinion.
And a lot of people are saying, the party is very tone deaf as what was actually needed. And to your point, these people on the right are very radical in their behavior and their thoughts. We can't still be sitting in 2025 saying we shall overcome while sitting over the top of Al Green because he just got it out. No, we need to be mobilizing people and being as aggressive as we need to be. And it's scary because it almost feels like another civil war. But at the end of the day, do you want to be the side that's just left completely with nothing and completely powerless, like we're gonna be for the next 4 years now?
Yeah, that's exactly what we are. Fully powerless, and anything they want goes. Anything they want goes. Unfortunately, there's nobody on that side that's going to be like, all right, let's really look at the Constitution and look what's best for the country. They're going to be like, what does my political career look like moving forward? And this guy's base is so strong that if I don't back him, my political career can be on life support very quickly. So they're just going to stand there and, like VP said, they're going to fall in line. And I've had hope that you would have some that are doing the right thing, but it's not happening, man. They made the right choices. They placed the people that they wanted there, and especially on the Supreme Court. And it's gonna be a fight, and it's gonna be 4 years of regret for some and 4 years of perceived victories for others.
Yep,
you know
absolutely.
but we'll see, man. We'll track that. Onto a little lighter conversation. LeBron James, your Lakers, or I'm sorry, your Knicks played against the Lakers this week, and Stephen A. Smith sat courtside. The Lakers did win that game, by the way. But mid-game, LeBron James approached Stephen A. Smith about some of the comments that he had about Bronny. And when you see what we first saw was a video of LeBron talking to Stephen A. Smith. This is what popped out. This is what went viral, and you could tell by the body language. Like if you've ever been around us, if you've ever been in this type of situation, you could tell by the body language. This wasn't, yo, how you doing? Great to see you. You know what I'm saying? This was Will Smith at the Oscars or wherever he was at.
What's the name out your mouth?
It was one of those, and you could tell in Stephen A. Smith body language from the video looked cowardly. He looked like the cowardly lion, standoffish, like, all right, okay, boss, you got it. And because it went viral the next day, Stephen A. Smith takes to his platforms, First Take, and then his personal shows, and he comes out and says, "Yeah, LeBron came up to me and he talked to me, and he started to walk back a little bit. Oh, I feel as a parent, as a dad, he was right, but as a player, whatever. And I probably shouldn't have said some things, and it hurt me. Blah blah blah." How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like LeBron put Bronny in a place to win, right? He placed him there, like we say that the whites do all the time. He put him in a place to win, got him into the NBA, with subpar NBA talent, and now there's criticism. Like, do you feel like this is warranted? This is valid for LeBron to do, or do you think he overstepped the boundaries there?
I mean, I've seen a lot of guys on my timeline, with sons. Me being a father myself, I think you get emotional in that aspect, and we see LeBron is still human. As perfect as he's been a father, a husband, a trendsetter, a generational athlete, he still is human. He's still flawed, right? I don't personally think Stephen Smith has said anything that should warrant that. Bronny is grown. He's a professional. He's in the space that you guys put him in, where he probably gets a bunch of hate mail and comments and all of that kind of stuff. This is the life you built for him. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that other fathers back in the day or even currently might pull up these guys they got relationships with, to the side when they say some crazy things. I don't think Stephen A. Smith said anything extremely flagrant. I thought it was kind of whack to a degree for Bron to run up on him like that, because you can see the physical difference, right? You can see how he towered over Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is much older than him. All of these things. So it was unfortunate. I think that Stephen A. Smith, despite the fact that he has to deal with this all the time, I think he didn't expect it from LeBron. I think there's certain superstars or certain stars that he might see that coming. I don't think he saw that coming from LeBron. I feel like he was genuinely hurt. I think it might be some things that LeBron said to him that took him back. Um, so I just think it caught Stephen A. off guard. I don't think LeBron was completely in the right in doing it that way. Like Stephen A. Smith said, he has access to me through multiple ways, multiple streams. So I mean, if it was something that you felt you needed to say, yo, he said I would have came out and I would have talked to you. You know what I'm saying? And again, LeBron, are you gonna press every person that says something to you, or are you gonna press the black commentator that says something to you or says something about your son? I don't know if Jack said anything bad, but are you gonna run up on Shaq like that? Are you going up on KG like that? I don't know. So I kind of feel there's an aspect of that where you kind of picking that low hanging fruit and who you know you can intimidate in that moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling courtside, I'm doing my thing, I'm watching you, I'm watching my Knicks. I'm not expecting that. Maybe, and that's another thing. And I mean, I told you about what happened to me this summer, where I had to, somebody came to me with some ill will. I'm thinking we good. So I'm not war ready at that moment. So also for Stephen A. suspension, if I knew you had smoke, maybe I would have been more prepared for that. You know, maybe I would
Yeah.
have came up to you in warm ups, or I would have came to the arena early and said, "Hey, I heard you got some issues with me, man. Let's hash it out. Let me talk to you." To be blindsided like that, I don't know, and it kind of seemed a little emotional on LeBron's part, like he was just holding it all this time. But as a father, you're absolutely not gonna want to have anyone talking bad about your kid. But we talking about the average parents. Your kid is a is the son of a mega superstar athlete, playing at USC. I mean, are we gonna fight every fan, every sports journalist about what they got to say about your pro son? I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you partially. I do, but I've seen both sides of it too. I've seen on the timeline, I've seen a lot of people saying it's warranted. I've seen a lot of people saying, on site is on site when you feel that way. I don't think that LeBron planned for it to be on site like that. I think that it turned into being an on site type thing. And I also think that, LeBron likes to be a he likes to be a pioneer of things, right? And he likes to be the champion of things. He likes to be um the person who starts trends and stuff. And I think what he was hoping for is this is a huge stage. This is Lakers versus Knicks. This is Madison Square Garden. This is an opportunity to say,
They
yo,
were in
let me
LA.
get oh, I'm sorry, LA. I'm sorry. This is an opportunity to say, yo, um, you talking heads need to watch your fucking mouth. If I'm gonna go to the highest paid, biggest name at ESPN and I'm gonna see him on the court and it's on site, then y'all need to start to approach with a little bit of grace. Like, and I'm not saying that Stephen A. Smith is not warranted in speaking about any athlete. That's what he gets paid for, speaking about any athlete negatively if they're not performing, right? But some of these dudes just be way out of their way out of their league, and they be talking real wild and real crazy. And I'm wondering if that was LeBron's intent here to say, yo, don't talk crazy no more. Like, it's okay to if you keep it sports, then you keep it sports. But when you go beyond that and you start to talk about personal life and you talk about personal accomplishments and someone's a loser or whatever that is, like, now you got to see me. And people, I think, underestimate the size of athletes, yo. Like, they look small on TV because they standing next to each other. It's just like when you got an 85-inch TV in a big ass Walmart next to a bunch of 100 screens, 175-inch, and then you get it home, you're like, damn, that shit bigger than I thought. It's the same thing, man. You see these athletes on TV and you're like, they're not that big, except for like the judges and stuff that make everybody look tiny. And then when you see them in person, like, now it's like, okay. And again, I don't think Stephen A is fully out of bounds being able to talk about people, but you got to keep it sports, and you got to keep it professional. And if you don't keep it professional, the minute y'all go outside of that professionalism, then now you have a problem. And understand that is going to come to you, or you can't come to the games no more. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you do come to the game, athletes are going to start to see you. And I don't know, maybe that was LeBron's intent.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the precedence he wants to set. I mean, because again, you've been going through this the last 20 something years. People been talking about your mom, Delonte West, Savannah, everybody. You had to deal with this. And so I'm pretty sure there are times and spaces where you talk to Bronny, you talk to Bryce, you talk to the baby girl that, hey, you're gonna be getting a lot of ridicule. You're gonna be doing, and unfortunately, that's the price that they pay that comes with this stuff, right? Um, and then DeMarcus Cousins, tweeted and said, "Yo, I was made the villain when I had to do this," and I think he feels some kind of way as an athlete because they all got to deal with this. What makes you that much special that you can do what you did to Stephen A. And so, is this now going to be the trend? Is Melo going to do this when it comes to Kanye? I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It just to me, it seemed a little out of bounds. It seemed a little bit different. As a father, I get it, but I mean, he got to deal with that all the time anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what he's expecting. And again, I don't know that Stephen A. Smith has said anything any more flagrant than anyone else has. Maybe they have a better relationship, but it sounds like Stephen A. Smith and him don't have each other's number because Stephen A. referenced Rich Paul, he referenced Maverick having his information. He didn't say LeBron could call him directly, so maybe they don't have a direct relationship, especially after all of the years Stephen A. sat across from Skip. I don't know. It looked a little crazy, but again, we got to remember these brothers are human. As we're going back to the Shannon Sharp and T. Morant situation, you know, cats tempers flare. You know,
Yeah.
tempers
And not
flare.
only that,
People human.
not only that, this is still from, this is his son, right? So who knows? For all we know, Braun might have said, "Yo, I'm not gonna play into this," or maybe I'll see him after the game. Maybe I'll see him after the game. Um, and his emotions just ran high when he saw him there. Like, when you're a parent, sometimes you can't control that. Knowing that this person has been on TV multiple times, dragging your son, through the mud. It's these are things that, as a dad, I get it. I absolutely get it. As a basketball player, as the quote unquote face of the league, as he has been for a very long time, maybe not such a good look. Maybe not such a good look. But look, man, if it makes these people like the Colin Cowards and all these other dudes that be talking greasy check their mouths a little bit, then I'm all for it, because they
I
be
think it
talking
will.
real disrespectful.
I don't think it will because this is nothing new. If you think about all Michael Jordan has had to endure, and Mike, despite everything people has ever said about him, Michael Jordan has always just kept it one way or the other way. He don't either talk to you and he keeps it moving, or he got a relationship with you. Because people have been talking crazy about Michael Jordan since the 80s. You know what I'm saying? But Michael Jordan, from all what we've heard, all accounts, if you're a media person, he don't rock with, he just don't see anybody. You don't exist. You know what I'm saying? And I think part of that is why people call him the black cat and the black messiah on the court and off the court, because he is that stone cold. Where it's like, I think it's almost an air of being up there where it's like, yeah, I know you're saying craziness, but I'm not even gonna give you the time of day. You're not on my level. And for LeBron, I don't think any of his haters or his ops in media are gonna take this and run away. I think they're gonna take this and run towards it, honestly.
Yeah, very possibly, very possibly. We'll definitely see it. We'll continue to monitor it. LeBron James got hurt last night though. In a game against the Celtics, he closed out on Jason Tatum. Looked like when he landed, I mean, it turned out to be a groin injury, but it looked like when he landed, that's probably what did it. Um, 40 years old, man, 40 years old, and this guy is playing 30 plus minutes a night, 32, 35 minutes a night. You have to know that it's coming, yo. I mean, there's two things in this world that are undefeated: father time and vagina. And so Father Time is catching up with LeBron, and we've been saying it for some time, and now it has turned into an injury. Hopefully, he can get through it. Hopefully, he'll get back before the end of the season. I mean, it looked like he was able to limp off from the highlights I saw. So clearly, I don't think it's too bad, but they do expect him to miss time. That was announced yesterday. With that being said, Luka being on the Lakers, do you think that they're going to continue? They're going to be able to continue to perform at that level. I think they were in the 2 seed at the time on an 8-game winning streak before last night. Like, do you think they continue to perform at that level, or how do you think LeBron being out is going to impact the Lakers?
I think I think that team, the way that JJ Redick coaches, and then what'll be their schedule down the stretch is also another thing. I think they'll be able to maintain. Fortunately for them, they're in a two spot, right? So if they continue to just hold the ladder, hold the margin, they could probably keep themselves still in a favorable spot. Whereas, you don't want them backsliding. If you're a Lakers fan, you don't want them backsliding to damn near a play-in position, which is all
Right.
possible. I think Luca, with the pieces around him, the connect, the other young guns that they got, I think they could surprise people and still do some things. And if you're Lakers brass, this kind of gives you a look into the future without LeBron, right? Like we know, like you said, know the day is coming. Can JJ Redick, can it hurt LeBron, motivate these kids and Luca to get on the stretch and do what they need to do? And I think they can maintain at least a 2 to 5 spot. Whereas my Knicks, on the other hand, no Jalen Brunson, win against the Clippers, straight looked terrible. Uh, like I've said since the beginning of time, Tom Thibodeau is. I'm fortunate for what he's done for us, but we're only going to go so far. So when you juxtapose those two teams, I don't think I don't know that the Knicks are going to be able to maintain staying up there at three, and maybe not even into a playing spot. I don't know. It don't look like we can play without them. LA, on the other hand, I think they got a better shot at rallying around Luca, those young guys, and hopefully, I don't know what the schedule is, but hopefully for them, a favorable schedule.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the biggest point that you made there is what does the Lakers look like? What's that future look like, right? And if they can continue to win, then as a Lakers fan, you feel very confident because it's only going to get better as LeBron ages out, that contract falls off. You're able to bring in some other players, some younger players, build around the nucleus that you have of the young players. Um, and kind of see what that looks like. But I think that they'll be okay. And the reason I say that is because Luca, again, he took you know um, the Mavs to the finals, last year without Kyrie. I'm sorry, was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. They beat Denver to get in last year, right? Um, Although they lost to Boston, he brought them there, and I do think that Mavericks team was a little less talented than this Lakers team. When you talk about Austin Reeves as your second man up after Luca, being able to score, being able he rebounds well as a guard. Rui or Ryu, I don't know, I always get it wrong, but Hachimura. You got
Rui
that guy
Hachimura.
that yeah, you got this guy who's, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can get it done. They've got some pretty decent level talent there, and starting at the two spot, they should be playoff contenders. I'm not sure. Let me pull up for research purposes the where we are in the season. It's still, I think there's still some significant time left, right? We're in March, so we got at least 3 months before we get to the playoffs, right? No, I'm lying. Playoffs start April 19th. Damn, I didn't know we were that close. Yeah, so I think
Yeah,
they're fine. I think they're fine. Now the bigger piece, the bigger question though is, if the playoffs start on the 19th, is LeBron back for that? If he's gonna miss
right.
time, how bad is that injury? Today they're in the 3 seed. And if the playoffs were to start today, they'd be playing the Warriors in the first round, which would be,
It's
you
gonna be a
know,
tough out.
it'd be a dogfight, especially without LeBron. Like with LeBron, I could see them beating the Warriors. I mean, Jimmy Butler has kind of resurged that team. It's getting Steph the shots that he needs. Um, they look pretty good. They look pretty good. So I don't know that Luca can beat that team by himself. So the Lakers and their fans have to hope that LeBron can get back by April 19th for the playoffs. And the reality is they're probably not going to hold that 3 spot, depending on what their schedule looks like coming up. But there's some contenders afterwards, right? Like, Grizzlies are in 4, Rockets, Warriors are 6, and then, depending on what happens with the play-in is Mavericks, Kings, Timberwolves, Clippers today. I don't want to play the Timberwolves in the first round. I mean, they've been shitty all year, and Ant-Man's been carrying them, but they have a hell of a roster. And if they find a way to get it going in the playoffs, we could see, just like they did last year, they make a run. So the Lakers need to find a way to get LeBron healthy. Hopefully he gets there. And they got to find a way to keep Luka healthy and not burn him out while LeBron's out to maintain, their level of play.
Absolutely.
I was hoping, before we move off of basketball, Charles Barkley will be at ESPN next year. And Charles Barkley already came out this week barking at Kendrick Perkins. And Kendrick Perkins barked back. Charles Barkley basically, I guess Kendrick Perkins said something like the Lakers have revived or are carrying the NBA. And LeBron James was like, or not LeBron, Charles Barkley, we lost EJ. Hopefully he'll be back in a second. There he goes. Charles Barkley basically said, this bozo or this dummy up at the at ESPN is talking about the Lakers like they saved the league, and then he goes into the Thunder and the Cavs and so on being a better team, basically saying they don't know what the hell they talking about up there at ESPN. And Perk goes to Twitter and says, keep that energy when you get here. Barkley is supposed to be part of the ESPN crew next year. So my question is, will they be able to coexist? And I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. And do you think it's real smoke, or do you think this is just creating early creation of ratings? EJ's frozen. I'll give my take. I think this is an early creation of ratings. Charles Barkley is an OG. He talks mega shit. Kendrick Perkins is a cornball. So I don't think that he's going to say much when he does see Charles Barkley. And if he does, again, Barkley is an OG. I think it'll come down to, this was for entertainment. We're leaving TNT and we needed to make sure that we set the stage for ESPN. That's what I think this is all about. But time will tell. And I think if we see them on the same panel, it's gonna be it'll be interesting at times. So with that, we wanted to go into some binges. I want to talk about the Paradise finale, but I don't want to spoil it. And I'll wait for VP because he's watched it and EJ has not watched Paradise or is not fully caught up on Paradise. And Love is Blind, that finale played this week. Another one that hopefully VP will be here for next week for us to unpack. But with the lack of co-hosts at this time, EJ is struggling with some connection issues, and VP is MIA. We'll go ahead and close this episode out. It was a short one, a little less than an hour. Hopefully next week we get back to the regular. I'm going to get us out of here the way VP normally does and just basically say, pick up the phone, call your loved ones, make sure they're good. A lot going on right now. People are struggling through these times. Money is tough. Prices are up. Morale is down, and stress is up. So make those phone calls, talk to your people, make sure they're good. Tomorrow's not promised, man. Take advantage of the time that you have. Go out there, make memories with your family, and we hope to see you back here next week on the Castworthy Podcast. We're out. We love you. Peace.